Welcome, everybody, to the Open Books Podcast, where we discuss all things going on in the real estate industry, helping you take the road less traveled to real estate success, guiding you to the top 10%. I'm your co-host, Curtis Haddock, alongside my brilliant co-hosts, Brooke Massey and Casey Tudor. What's up, guys? How's your day so far?
I feel like we need a Price is Right, like
my day has been great.
sound effect. Like the
Oh yeah, we need.
That's our editor's job.
All sound effects.
Just submit all sound effects that you'd like to her email.
Remember when we tried to do sound effects with buttons and?
I still like that.
No, I know, but there's no way the mics will pick them up the way we want them to.
Oh,
we
fair.
need to have like the buttons programmed like into the sound.
We can do
system.
that. We could trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just need more gear.
Yeah. So we need more.
We need more. So go ahead and subscribe.
Yeah. Subscribe and help us get.
We need more
sponsors.
money.
Yeah.
Sponsors, yes.
Yeah, and then we could make this the best podcast with sound effects ever.
We would at least even just take more microphones.
Yeah.
We need like
From
Plinko.
sure.
You need what?
I said we would even from sure we would just take some more microphones.
Sure. Is that the kind of?
That's what these are.
Okay.
Sure, SM7B.
I just show up and start talking, so I don't look at all that
Dude, you
fancy
gotta stop.
stuff.
You gotta stop shouting out these brands without sponsorships.
Well,
man.
I'm trying to get one.
Well, hey, you know what's weird?
I don't think that's how you. Is that how you? That's not how you.
I have no idea. You have to have
No.
followers.
Yeah, followers is how you get them.
Yeah.
Not mentioning them on your podcast.
That's right. They're like, thank you.
Yep.
Well, I was on my way in this morning because I was stuck in traffic for
I
900
know. I was
years.
waiting on y'all for a long time.
Well, that's
Y'all?
what
Y'all.
I was really thinking. I'll just add to the y'all. How real estate and dating are kind of similar.
Oh, yes.
As far as like
please explain. This should be
going
good.
and getting clients and talking to them and making relationships. And then I was like, you know what? I'd be really good at dating if I wasn't already married, just because of all of this and the emotions that go into it,
That's
especially
what I was gonna say. Just emotions.
like emotions, not just the clients, but your own emotions that you feel too, right? Like if someone ghosts you and then it's like, oh, well, I guess that first date didn't go good, or that first buyer's consultation didn't go good, and then you still follow up with them because we're like 5-stage clingers as real estate agents.
Well, I mean,
Can be.
there's a lot to
Can
it.
be.
Then when we think about real estate. Agents in particular, obviously, we are thinking about clients most of the time, but this also applies to
Go
other
home
agents.
and think about them all night long.
No. What I'm getting at is this topic applies across the board whether you are producing or team building.
Yes.
I just met with an agent in the Tulsa market a few weeks ago. I felt like it was one of the best appointments I had recruiting.
He was sure he was going to get a second date.
We've been in a lot of recruiting appointments,
We
right?
should do the second date update as like a little side clip.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry.
Well, so
She didn't show up.
Not only did the meeting go well, she appreciated the fact that I wanted her to be able to, talk to her husband and family and like just make sure that, you got all your questions answered. She followed up with me. So she sent the first text, and
You did your due diligence. You asked the family for permission first,
You
right?
ran forewarned
Yeah.
on them. No.
everything checked out. And she followed up with, hey, I just have a couple more questions. Can we schedule another Zoom? Mm-hmm. Of course we can. We'll set it up here. So I was like, here's my calendar link, and yada, yada, yada. Well, still have not gotten the appointment scheduled, right? She still hasn't scheduled the
So she
appointment.
goes
She's
to
probably seeing other people.
And I haven't heard
could
from
be.
her. And I thought that. I thought, well, maybe she met with some other brokerage and just didn't want to break the news to me and has already made a decision to move on. Well,
so instead of just being honest with you, she'll just make you just suffer
well, let me finish the story
until you can move on.
There's a happy ending to this story.
Oh, okay. Excuse me.
And at least we hope it's not even over yet. We're still halfway
so there's some hope.
through. Like even where I'm standing at in this moment on this microphone right now, I'm still like hanging on to hope.
Okay.
They're still dating.
Yeah.
I can see it in your eyes.
Yeah. So, thanks. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and she's good. She would be huge for our Tulsa market.
Love it.
And like when I mean
Do
huge,
I need a caller for you?
When I mean huge, I mean it could be like to a point where she gets us to the volume that we want to get to start getting some more growth there. So, anyways, I don't hear from her, and I called her and left a voicemail, and then I sent her a text saying, "Hey, I called and left you a voicemail. Hadn't heard from you. Just yada yada yada." Well, she then yesterday called me back, and it wasn't long after I had sent the text, and she called me back. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I haven't scheduled anything." And she goes, "But yes, I definitely want to still schedule another meeting.
Okay.
I'm going out of town tomorrow, which is today."
Which that's a common thing.
So is she gonna
too,
put her
with
profile
clients
on
or
pause?
recruits.
So you have to you just
what
never
I would
know.
do.
Yeah, that would stress me out.
I just wanted to wait until I got back.
Yep.
And she's like, "I also have this awards thing going on."
Oh gosh, I'm already worried.
Halfway through February, I mean, she's moving on from this place,
Yeah.
for growth. I mean, she knows that she has to find another place,
Okay.
because it just doesn't fit her goals. Mm-hmm. And so, but I guess she's a big part of this awards thing, and so she doesn't want to, make things weird by leaving and going somewhere before. Okay?
Yeah.
I totally understand. Totally fine. Do your thing. But that phone call, gave me hope, of course, and made me feel better. And ironically, she's going out of town today, and I know someone else who's going out of town today that's in this room, and they're going to the same place.
Vegas.
Yes, Vegas. And so I just do you know Lauren Downs? I'm like, and she goes, "No, I don't
What's your
think so."
flight
I go,
number?
Okay. Well, you guys just happen to be going to the same place with friends at the same time.
Lauren,
So,
you have a job to do while you're having fun. Yes.
If you meet, I'll tell you after.
probably
what her name
will.
is. If she listens to this podcast, she will 100% know I'm talking about her. But
Which means most likely she joined.
Yes.
yeah, that'd be good. So it's a good. I hope she hears this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at any rate, when she gets back, we'll set up that second meeting, get her questions answered, and then I'm gonna give it my all to get her here, because again, it would be just an unbelievable asset for that market.
Right.
So
It's hard.
We need it.
I think that's the biggest first thing is the search.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just finding them, making sure, forming that relationship, bonding with them, making sure, everyone feels
Yeah.
the right type of way.
When you run a business or any business, like if you're a musician and you're creating your brand, or any if you have a clothing company, like you have an ideal client, and so you're out marketing towards them and showing or trying to figure out where these people are, where they live, what the zip codes are, what they look like, what's their age,
Yep.
are they married, are they not? You have all this criteria, and then you go after those people. And I think, but you also attract what you are too at
Yes.
the same time. And so I know I read Darren Hardy's, I don't remember what book it was, but he talks about how he wrote down in a notebook everything he wanted in his wife.
Entrepreneur roller coaster.
Is it in that one? Okay, so
I'm sure you probably put it in multiple because this is a good.
yeah, so he wrote, I want her to look like this. I want her to have these kinds of ambitions, to smell like this. Everything he saw in his person.
Yeah.
And then he said, "Now, am I the kind of person who can get someone like that?
Yes.
And if I'm not, I've got some things to work on." And
Self-reflection.
And it's interesting because when we've all got the friends who have those toxic relationships, or family members that have them, and you just want to shake them. And it's and then they'll jump from this relationship because that person is no good. They'll jump to this one, and it's the same shit. Or they'll move out of the state. I just need to start over, and they take the shit with them to the new state and do the same things.
Realtors do that like
And it's
crazy.
they can't. It's like they only attract toxic
Yeah,
because
that's
they're
what I was gonna say.
toxic, and they couldn't get a good man or woman if they wanted to.
Yeah.
because they're not putting the right kind of energy out.
That's a great point because, I mean, I think this is what Brooke was going to say, and you can elaborate if you want, but real estate agents do the same thing when it comes to production of any kind. If it's not working where they're at, right, most of the time they're going to blame external factors. It's always external factors. It's the brokerage.
They don't give me leads.
It's my mentor.
I don't have support.
I don't have this. I don't have that. And so, but I've heard over here they give those things. So then they take everything about themselves over to this grass is greener side, right?
Yep.
Where they get the things that were excuses before. Now they don't have that as an excuse. But yet they get the same result. And it's because they fail to first look in the mirror and have self-reflection on what am I doing or not doing that is contributing to my lack of success. And so I would challenge anyone listening that wants to increase their production, do the same thing Darren Hardy did. Get out a piece of paper, and I want you to think about the most successful agents that you know, the top producing agents, the agents with the biggest teams that do that in your eyes are successful. And I want you to start writing down the qualities that they possess, right? What actions are they doing? What do they do they show up and work often? Are they on the phone all the time? Are they out in the field all the time?
What's their attitude like?
What's their attitude like? Are they, do they do stuff on social? What are the things that you see that they do? And then look at yourself and say, am I doing even half of those things?
Right.
And if you're not, then I think that you should look at yourself before you point fingers at other places. Because I do think you can point fingers at external factors in this industry.
100%.
But it starts with yourself.
Yeah. No, I like that because not only just that too, but like write down those things, but then also think about your ideal clientele or person or whatever it may be, and do those things match your perfect clientele? Because I also know real estate is also a burnout industry. Right. So I want to work with clients that I actually like working with, because then for me, if I like this person genuinely and then they have an issue, it's so much easier to work that issue versus just put your head down and do the grind and just do every single deal possible. I'm trying to build like a brand and something big and a true business. You can totally do that, right? Especially at the beginning. You should go after every single deal because most of the time you may not know what your ideal client is,
right.
Or you don't know who you are either as an agent.
So are you saying that people should just go get as many partners as they can before they settle on the one?
Yes. Be a hoe. I'm just kidding.
I think a lot of people would probably suggest that, but
that's hard because there's not really a yes or no on that.
Yeah,
I think it depends on the person. And if you are somebody who knows what you're after and knows what you want, then you don't need to.
Because you know what would suck? I mean, and I know this happens all the time. You marry your high school sweetheart, and then 30 years later, she's like, you know what? You're all I know, and I'm kind of over it, and kind of want to just try some new things out. And of course, for women, it can be difficult too. But I think women can pretty much get guys whenever they want. But as a man, I would be like, I've been with you. I've never dated anyone else. Like, what the heck do I even do? Like,
I think women would do the same thing.
Yeah.
If it had been 30 years. Like, even though they're the ones who get approached, like that, it's still like you got to put yourself out there. You got to dress a certain way. You got to. I mean, it's difficult on both sides.
Oh yeah,
I think you got to be compatible, but also you at that point. This is more relationship wise, I think, than clients, but you have to both work together, right? Because you have to have constant communication and understanding. If things start to get boring or whatever, why is it getting boring, right? We love each other, we have a family, whatever else. Like, what do we need to do to make our compatibility a thing again?
So no, I was actually going to bring this up, but since we're on this topic, I'm going to go ahead and bring it up. I think, one of the hardest parts of your real estate career is going to be the beginning, right?
Yes.
Just learning, getting it off the ground. So the search, finding the right person and finding the right. And as far as real estate goes, finding the right clientele, the right business model for you, finding the right people to surround yourself with that's going to give you the support that you need. But then the second next hardest thing is survival.
Yes.
Is that you've been doing it for 30 years and you have a burnout mindset or like you're starting to feel burnout or
What's
things
next?
aren't going your way or the market is down, right?
Oh, that's a big one.
And you're struggling and you're not making the money that you were used to making and you're worried if you're going to pay your bills next month and you have a family to feed and you have all this stuff going on. Gosh, it is so easy to let your mind go to the point where it's like, okay, I quit and I'm going to go do something easy and where that's more secure, right?
Yeah.
Because people find security in so many different things. And, one of them is in a consistent job and a consistent paycheck. And when you're in a field where it's up and down and when it's up, you're really good and you made a lot of money and you can do it and you're in it longer is whenever you do experience that down, boy, it really takes a certain character to push through and to continue to do this business when you are on the roller coaster ride down.
Especially if you only produce and that's all you do.
Oh yeah,
I think that's
really
probably
hard.
10 times worse than.
Well, it's like it's the in a marriage, it's you either live a survival type marriage or you have an enriched marriage.
Yes,
so it's like you're
I
either
like
always
that.
fighting against it and trying to just keep it together, or you're finding ways to keep it fresh and new. And I do that in real estate all the time where it's like sometimes like, man, I can't stand this anymore. And usually it's like, it's also moment to moment too. It's like one client like really pisses you off or it's like really difficult when you're struggling with other things. And it's like, I don't have to put up with this shit, but then you get like a good client or you get a big deal and your client's real appreciative and you're like, oh my God, this is great. It's a hard line to.
I think
It is. You
people
got to
just.
push through. Everyone has a choice.
I think just people too have a hard time with change. Just in general, but it's inevitable. Because I was just sitting over here thinking, and tell me if you guys agree or disagree. But I feel like everything we do in life, it evolves, it changes. Even this sounds so silly, but it's what came to my head: brushing your teeth, right? You change how you brush your teeth over time, right? From when you're a little kid to as you go in adulthood, right? All the way until you're elderly. It's something that you do every single day, but it changes, right? So I think more people need to understand that, and you have to constantly keep things fresh and keep moving forward. And if you always have that mindset, then you're forever going to grow and live a nutritious life of everything that you do.
Yeah, but I think it's important to be accepting of change and not run from it, but almost run towards it and
Because
embrace
if it's
it.
going to happen, if your relationship or your real estate career, okay, if you've been doing the exact same thing for years and now it's starting to not work, well, maybe it's time now. And it could be something really small. A very simple, small change makes a big difference.
Yeah, for me, I've like. So we could talk about like settling, and for me, like I've always had that thought in the back of my mind, like, man, this industry is pretty crazy. It can get rough. Why don't I just go do this? But then I'm like, but why would I do that? Because that's settling.
Yeah.
And we try to prevent our agents from doing that all the time. It's like, well, I didn't do the things I was supposed to do. Whether they admit it or not.
Self-reflection.
And
We
then
have to self-reflect too.
Then they go take that job and they settle. And it'd be just like, you're like, well, I'll go ahead and date this guy because, he's there.
Yeah.
And then you're with this person for 10 years,
And I'll say,
And then you're full of regrets.
yeah.
I mean, sometimes, right? Sometimes settling is fine for people, and there's nothing
work, yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. But I think going back to understanding who you are and what you want, like you said, reflect. Write down on a piece of paper, who do you want to be? Who do you want to attract? In relationships, and clients and relationships too, because if you nurture all of those, then you're going to be successful.
I will disagree with you a little bit on that. I do think that settling is a bad thing, because if it was meant for you and you nurture it and you do it the right way, and it turns out to be what is great for you, then I wouldn't call that settling. I would call that you worked for that to be what you wanted it to be, and you either had to sacrifice, your partner had to sacrifice, and you guys made it better than what it could have been had you just settled and accepted things for what they are. You changed the circumstances by making a decision to work at it, to communicate, to do the things that make it to where it's not settling for you. Whereas to me, when you settle, you are saying that you're okay with average, mediocre, less than what you are capable of either doing, receiving, going after, whatever it is. And I would say it's okay in the stance of like, if you do that and like that, and you're happy and content with that, that's not a bad thing, I guess. But
define your settle.
Sure,
Because then I guess everybody settles eventually. Because even as us, as we
do it on
growing,
a micro level or a large level.
Once we take over the world, right? That's us settling.
I mean, but I still would disagree because my mindset is like, and I've heard this from many people that
that's why we're going to Mars.
Do what?
That's why we're going to Mars.
There you go.
Elon Musk.
Earth isn't good enough.
As people, we adapt, we grow, we change. If you're not growing, you're dying. So the moment you settle in life, even if you become the wealthiest person in the world, and you're happy, and you have absolutely nothing left to conquer, then you are now starting to die unless you take a different challenge on. You like find something else that challenges you and motivates you. And so we should never really settle, regardless of the results and the success we have, unless we're ready to settle.
Well, yeah,
and stop growing. But then you have to be ready to, like, you're done. Like, you're ready for your brain to stop working, and you're slowly gonna die when you.
Will, yeah. I mean, we're talking growth on not just the financial level. Emotional.
Oh yeah, everything,
physical,
spiritual, everything.
Your marriage, your family with your kids, all that stuff can be improved upon. So yeah, maybe you're done financially, but then maybe now you can buy yourself time to do all the other things that you want to. Yeah, because essentially our idea of retirement, or America's idea of retirement, is, in what I've seen from like grandparents and stuff, is you retire and then you sit in your recliner.
Yes. I don't want to do that.
And you watch the damn news.
Yeah.
Screw
why?
that.
Yeah, screw that. I'd rather work, honestly, than sit in a recliner all
I would
day.
get bored.
I just don't ever see myself like retiring unless my body tells me you cannot get up anymore.
Right. Yeah. I'll always be doing something.
Then I'll just watch every NBA game broadcasted.
Yeah. No, then I would follow the team around
in your
I would
recliner.
make it a traveling experience and go watch them play. I mean, that's something I would do.
Yeah.
There's people who do that, yeah. Or they go see bands. When I go see bands, people will be towards the front, and they'll go, yeah, this is our 6th show in a row. And I'm like, how the hell do you afford to do this?
Yeah.
Like, you just went to 6 different states and watched 6 different concerts? They
did.
But man, they sure did.
They figured it out. They did not settle.
No, they did not.
They did not. So now what? Now where we take this?
What's the next
I was
bullet?
like, let's circle back around and kind of come back to like, I think first impressions is like a really big thing to kind of talk about as far as like, because so many things, it could go in a positive way, it could go negatively.
Are you desperate?
Or like Curtis's story could have went south. Like he said he felt so good at the appointment. I really was expecting you to say it like went bad or something.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Because that's a possibility too. There's many times I've met clients.
I kept following up, baby.
I mean, I had
Fortune's in the follow-up.
I had a FISBO the other day that
I followed up with my wife for like 3 years before she'd go out with me. Not really.
Not my wife. She knew.
I did.
She knew.
Hey, I just followed up with a guy for 2.5 years, and he finally just now onboarded.
It happens.
It happens, right?
I remember that.
Which is why this is a long game. Like, people don't understand that's why you can't be successful right out of the gate.
Well, I'm actually
Takes
just going to talk
time.
about it because our first impression of that guy that I followed up for 2.5 years, it was a very interesting one because they were trying to recruit me and vice versa. And so.
And you got him to onboard?
Do what?
You got him to onboard?
Yeah.
2.5 years later.
2.5 years later.
I love it.
But people will look at this and say, "Oh, Brooke just got another one."
Yeah,
but they have
right.
no idea. Like that was 2.5 years in the making.
And making a
You know what sucks
good
worse
first
is
impression.
whenever you follow up with someone for 2 years and then they join someone else's team.
Yeah.
Oh, fair.
Hey,
I'm just teasing though,
well,
but it
then
does
that's-
happen.
No, that does happen.
Keep following up until
Well, it's just like whenever you thought you had a client and they use another realtor. You know, it's like,
you thought, or
Damn.
you thought you had a wife and she chose someone else.
yeah. Hey, that happened to me twice. And one of them was and I dodged a bullet with this one, but I was dating a Thunder girl, and all of a sudden she like started ghosting me, and I'm like, what the heck? And then I see on Facebook she's engaged.
Oh.
That's how you found out.
Awkward.
Yeah.
How soon after?
So all the other Thunder girls were pissed because I had a relationship with all of them because the salon I worked at the
Casey.
time, we did their hair.
Yeah,
And so they were in all the time getting their hair done. And we'd go to every Thunder game, go to the locker room, do their hair and their makeup and all that stuff. And all the girls were so pissed off because she just like meets this guy like just randomly, and like within 2 weeks they're engaged.
So he had a
he had
good
money?
good
Yeah,
first impression.
he had money.
He had money.
That was his first impression.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
that is the good first impression that you need to have. But
Yeah.
but if you want, so to me, I wouldn't want to marry someone who saw that first impression and then just was
Gave it
willing
everything?
to give you everything because of it.
before you even
Are
know
they still
someone.
married?
Where I didn't have to work for it or
I have no idea.
anything.
You should creep.
Yeah.
That's what Facebook's for.
Yeah. But so if you
I don't remember last time it was Megan something.
that was her last. You don't remember her last name? You said.
No, this is like 15 years
So
ago
you-
now.
Yeah, because
Casey wasn't too bitter.
Be Tudor. That's what you thought it was going to be.
That's right.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where I went
why do
wrong.
you say you dodged a bullet?
Well, because anyone that's going to get engaged within 2 weeks,
Yeah.
it ain't right.
Hey,
Yeah.
sometimes that
I'm not
works
gonna say
out.
I'm not gonna
does.
say that for everyone. I got married pretty quick too. I mean, I only dated Claire for like a year,
Yeah,
but I
sometimes
knew.
you know.
But
Sometimes
I knew
you
it.
know. But it got it works out when people do that for the right reasons.
So
And I think money is not necessarily the right reason if it's just money. I don't know what that was.
a remote.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna pretend like it didn't happen.
So
you go.
I
first-
followed up with Claire. Claire followed up with me. Actually, she got. I lost her number. Like I did one of those
Casey.
things where like you put it in your phone and then you like didn't hit save. And so she actually reached out to me on Facebook and asked me for my number. Like I could have blew it.
You could have.
You really could have.
You know,
In fact,
That
you
was
did
meant to
blow it.
be.
You're lucky.
I am. I've been lucky for the last 10 years.
Yes, you have.
We'll ask you at age 30 or year 30.
I was like, I'm 38.
Yeah.
So for as far as like when you guys go and meet people, do you guys ever think about your first impression when you
Oh,
go?
all the time. All the time.
What's kind of like your mindset when you do that with clients and then probably recruits?
So I try to I have learned like over the years, like I am a chameleon. I try to adapt a little bit to who
Yep.
I'm talking to and see like what are they interested in, like, and it's not like I'm trying to pretend that I'm interested in things that they are interested in. It's I genuinely can be interested in almost anything.
Oh,
if
yeah.
if I'm with somebody who loves doing something
And they have the
then
knowledge.
then that's enough for me to enjoy it because I know they're enjoying it.
And then you get to
know?
ask lots of questions.
Yeah, and then you can.
I love
then
asking
you can
questions.
Well, that's
learn
how you don't
and-
get awkward. You just ask questions.
Yes.
Yeah, and you become a great listener. So being a good listener, but I also go in with an attitude of just being cheerful, happy. I try not to be pushy when it's a first impression, but I will get pushy by the time when I'm following up with them.
Well,
And there's like there's a certain way to go about doing that, I think.
I agree because I always tell people all the time because a lot of people get into real estate. They're like, "Oh, it sells." I'm like, make the relationship. And there are
Right.
times
It's a
you have to
relationship game.
sell yourself and sell the situation or whatever.
You got to do the same thing with your
But
boss every day. You got to
you
go sell
can't-
yourself and pretend like you're happy and enjoying your job when you don't.
Right.
know?
But don't
get a
go
job that
in.
you really are happy in,
Yeah.
Like you could be happy doing the job that you're doing.
But don't give the first impression and go in and just be a salesman.
Yeah. That's a negative. That's a negative.
Very
mindset. That's
negative.
the whole
I will
world is
say-
built on sales. Everything takes a
It
sales.
Oh, it does.
Now, to play devil's advocate there, that does work for people who have that skill set, like where they can go in and bully their way to a sale. Right now,
They know how to ask the right questions
yes,
and
they're just really good. But it's not really that's to me is not duplicatable when you're trying to teach others.
And
how to
it's
do
not
it.
going to last. Like,
Yeah, it could, but people who have that skill set, you're not going to teach them that. They either have it or they don't. So when I
Yeah.
say it's not duplicatable, then what I mean is you can't teach that to somebody. They either possess that in their personality and in their skill set, or they don't. In my personal
Yeah,
opinion, so people who hold on. But
Holding.
Wait.
yeah. But I will say that it could work. That going in like that can work for some people. Case in point, our very own Hubs can do that.
oh yes.
But I will say she probably doesn't realize how many deals she misses out on because she doesn't wait for the second time to do it.
She's learning.
Yeah. So if she could wait to be that just missile until the second appointment and build that rapport on the first one and actually be like, man, I care about you and I want what's best for you. And so I'm here to listen. And then once you've listened and know what they want, now you become that bulldog. Well, listen, you told me this is what you wanted. So that's what I'm trying to go do. I'm going to make that happen for you. That's when, the second time is when I personally believe, but it can work for some people. I just don't know how many deals they're missing because of it.
Yeah, she's also pretty good though too. Sometimes she just has a way of being that bulldog, but like come off in a caring way where people are like, "Oh, okay, I'm in."
Yeah, and if you want this industry to last for you and it to not be so difficult in the end, all you have to do is just like be the kind of person that people want to be around and build that relationship. And Ricky Crew talked about that, how when he got into real estate and then the market crashed, he had right before it crashed, it was booming.
Yeah.
And so he said, I was just making so much money, and then it crashed and then I had nothing and I lost
he had like
it.
$1 million and lost it all.
He lost it all. And he said the piece that I missed was I didn't engage with people and build relationships. I sold it. I was turning and burning. And I've met agents
Thought
out
about
there.
quitting several times.
Yeah,
He says.
I've met an agent like that in my second or third year, and I was actually selling about what he was, and he'd been in. And he's like, "How do you have that many deals?"
Yeah.
Because he bought all of his on Zillow. Because all he does is turn and burn. He doesn't care about his clients. I just recently did another deal with him. He was awful. And it's like he was making shit up. And I told my clients in front of him, like, don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Because he was telling he was just like he couldn't believe I said that.
Yeah.
But he was telling these clients that the land behind their house was owned by the city and that they maintain it. And I said, no, they don't. I was like, it's owned by a couple. I looked it up on the county assessor.
Yeah.
Which I was upset with my client. I'm like, dude, why are you asking questions? You're asking him questions you've already asked me.
Yeah.
I've already even sent him the names of the people.
Yeah.
And it was just funny. But that's just the way he treats everyone. I'll just go through it and make stuff up.
Yeah. So people who are like that, they can have a lot of success. It will end. Whether the market turns, or we're getting to a point where I don't think buying leads is gonna be all that it's cracked up to be.
Oh, yeah, no.
because of how many people are doing it. Like you're pretty much just getting sent a giant list of your community is what we've talked about. And I think that's what's happening. Like there can only be so many leads in a market, right? And so the competition for who provides those leads, they're squeezing each other out of their profit and out of everything to where they're going to have to just send, they want to send something. They got to differentiate themselves somehow. And I think we're getting to that point where that competition is either going to push a bunch of people out or we're going to get sent a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
You know, which is already a bunch of crap.
Right.
But it's going to be even more crap, which means people are going to give up on it faster.
So you have 10 houses in a row, and the person in the middle is on the couch, and they hit the Zillow. Hey, I want to look at this house. Mm-hmm. Well, everyone else has been looking at houses too. I mean, everyone always kind of looks. Everyone in those 10 houses are, this person's 3 years out. This person's 5 years out. This one's 10 years. This one's 6 months out. The only difference between the lead that you got is that person hit a button on Zillow.
Yes.
So it's like, but all those houses are still, everyone's going to move, meaning, all the leads out there are just your neighbors.
Yeah.
Well,
And your friends and your family. And
we're in such a convenience type mindset in our whole society, right? So anything in business, if you can wrap something up and make it appear easy, you can sell that, right? That's like what
Whether
leads
it actually
are.
works or not, you just got to sell the appearance.
Right, and people will pay for it.
I hate that though.
No, 100%. Well, but going back to my point and your point of people on Zillow, they're just doing it because it's convenient. But that's not what's going to actually help them buy a house.
Right.
You cannot eliminate the human factor in going and meeting the person.
I think we'll be able to eliminate it some. Like I'm predicting that within 10 years, 25% of the market will buy housing without ever having met someone or without ever having looked at the house. So it's coming, and I think it's because of the generation that's coming up behind us. They're growing up in a digital age where they're used to talking to people behind a computer and a keyboard and a phone, and not having to talk to people. And then when they get a phone call or whatever, it's like they don't even know how to have a conversation or meet people and build relationships. And so
It'd be
for
the first
them,
person to get to him at that point.
the risk of buying a house that has problems is in their eyes is less than the risk of having to go, of the fear of them having to go talk to people. They're going to be okay with taking on the risk because the pictures look good. They're going to get an inspection, right? And so they're fine as long as the pictures look good. They might get a walkthrough or something like that. They're going to be fine buying a house without looking. And it happens today, with people who buy houses out of state. Investors, Airbnb investors, things like that. Some primary resident homeowners will do that today. It's not often, but I do think it's coming. However, to Brooke's point, you can't eliminate the human element when it comes to the conversation.
Yes.
So there's always going to be a human element when it comes to communicating, whether it's via text, whether it's via phone, whether it's via Zoom.
Because everything is emotional.
It's all emotional.
I mean, unless they make a conversational AI that understands emotions, which that would probably take some time.
But it's happening. I mean,
no, 100%.
Yeah.
And I think that then can eliminate, to your point, some of it, but still not all of it.
But you're still, you still have to. There's still a person behind the AI. Right.
Yes.
And so there's still going to be, there's still a lot to it. But it's going to change a lot. And so, that goes back to the very beginning with you have to adapt to change and be willing to accept change in your relationships and in your business and in really everything that you do. Because how long have you been married?
10 years.
How long have you been married?
4 years this month.
4 years. Wow, really? I thought it was longer.
We've been together 12.
Okay.
It took a little bit longer. I had to make sure she was the right one.
There you go.
No, I'm just kidding. We were just young.
Well, so April and I will be 12 years this year. And but I will say, and I would assume that you guys could say this. Maybe not you quite yet, but probably to an extent.
We've still been together 12 years.
That's true.
So
how long have you lived together?
Yeah, because how long we lived together? Probably 11 and a half years.
Okay. then this will work. Forget when you got married.
No, I'm just kidding.
Would you say that just you yourself, are you the same exact person that you were when you met your spouse?
Well, the same exact, no, but for the most part.
but I bet you that Claire could say things about that you may
That
not
I've
even
improved
recognize
on?
in yourself that you have that improved on, or maybe not.
Yeah.
Or maybe like something that April could say that isn't an improvement for me is early on in dating and things. I mean, I was I was super romantic. And that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And that happens to a lot of guys in that because now you live together. It's hard to you share a bank account. It's hard to surprise your spouse.
You got kids.
You got kids. Life gets in the way. Like those romantic dates and the surprises and the flowers. Like it does. I could do better.
I was gonna, me absolutely.
Buy some flowers tonight.
I am way different. I've already won the girl. Right?
Yeah.
In my mind. And so it's like, I'm not in the woo stage.
Yeah.
And so I've changed. I 100%, my mindset has changed.
So this year I'm like, okay, I'm taking Claire out for Valentine's Day, on that night, not going to cook dinner, not going to do it a different night. And, my sister-in-law, she really does try to help me, and I appreciate it. But she also doesn't help because last night she was over, and she's like, "So what are you doing for your wife on Valentine's Day?" And I'm like,
Oh, in front of her too?
"Yeah." And I was like, "Well, I was gonna take her out to dinner." She's like, "Well, do you need a babysitter?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah." And she's like, "Well, are you gonna get on that?" And I'm like, "Oh my God!"
Like it just ruins
I'm like,
the whole
yeah,
plans.
I'm like, yeah. I'm like, are you gonna watch my kids?
I
and
can't
she's
stand that
like,
either.
sure. I'm like, okay, thank you. And she goes, so do you need to make your reservation? And I'm like, I really
Stop
don't need any more
asking.
help.
yeah.
I had it all planned.
And it's like, and then so last night, Claire pissed me off too because I was literally like, she was stressed out yesterday.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to take over. I had the laundry going and rotating, and as the kids were eating, I was cleaning up the dishes and cleaning all the dinner that Claire had made. And she asked me, "Hey, do you mind cleaning all this up?" And I go, "What do you think I'm doing?" And she's like, "Well, I'm just like making sure." And I'm like, "Yeah, but," I was like, "I know you're stressed out, but now it's like you're feeling like you have to ask me." She's like, "No, I was just making sure." And I'm like, well, but I don't want later for you to come back and be like, well, you only helped because I asked you to.
Yes.
I love how this turned
I was
into
so
like,
mad.
Nothing has changed. I haven't changed into this. Like, and now he's got examples.
Yeah.
Like, oh man,
I try to recognize and pitch in more whenever
Sure.
I need to.
But I mean, I bet you even Claire is not the same person. And
we've changed a
I know
ton.
for sure both of you aren't the same because you got kids now.
Yeah, we're both way more anxious.
You got
of the
more
kids.
responsibilities. I mean,
Yeah.
your mindset changes on like your desires that you want, the vision for your future. I mean, things change.
Yeah, and you really do slide into that survival mode. You're just trying to get through the damn day because your kids are wearing you out, your clients wore you out, whatever.
I don't know about for like you guys too, but Brittany and I probably the past 3 years have gotten really good at just sitting down and communicating and talking back and forth, especially because we're doing like a generational change, not only for us, but for our families. And so that is really tough. So going against our families, going against each other and, breaking the cycles that like she grew up and I grew up in a certain way because we, feed off each other into the relationship. And so that's huge. So we've changed so much in the best way possible.
Sure. I mean, communication is huge. I mean, something that April and I started doing is Sunday night is our check-in night. We put the kids to bed and then we sit down and we check in. Okay, how are you doing? How are things going?
I love that.
What's your schedule like this week? Where can I help you?
Yeah.
Do you have anything going on where I need to step in? Like, do I need to take the kids anywhere? We look at the schedule. We see how we're feeling. How are you doing? Are you overwhelmed with anything? Anything we can take off your plate? I mean, but yeah, just having that time to decompress and talk through things that are going good and things that maybe are causing anxiety or stress, then you can talk through, okay, how can I make it better for you? How can you make it better for me?
That is so golden.
It may not be, and then when you first started, like we may not be perfect at doing those things, but we're starting to grow in that.
Yeah, well, that's just putting each other first.
Yeah, no, we started doing that too because sometimes Brittany likes to vent, and I'm such a fixer. So if she starts venting, I'm like trying to fix it for her.
Let me get my screwdriver.
And she's like, stop. And I'm like, well, then stop venting. So instead, now we kind of do the same thing. I let her vent, and I'm like, so to resolve my fixerness, I'm like, how can I make it better? Yeah. And she'll either tell me, just let me vent, or do something.
That's good if you relate that to your clients too. Like,
I do now,
because when they vent to you or they have a big problem,
or if it doesn't go their way, because sometimes that happens.
Right. How important the communication is, because I'm selling a house for this couple right now, and they're just like, we're not going to do anything that we don't want to. We're gonna get this for the house, or we're not selling. This is going to be as is. This is a nice house. They're doing the whole typical thing.
Yes.
And it's I was thinking about this. I'm like, why are you negotiating with me? Like, I'm not the one asking for repairs.
Right.
I'm here to help you negotiate them, because guess what? They're coming. Well, turns out whenever we got to that point, they have no money. Like, literally no money. Mm. But they don't tell me any of this stuff.
Yeah, it just comes out
and then emotions. It comes out, and then all of a sudden, guess who has where the ball is? It's not in their court. It's in the other parties, because we got an offer and they're asking for repairs. Yep. And these people don't have a choice.
Yeah,
because they have to get out. But it's just funny, because their communication in the beginning was just not. It wasn't accurate enough for me to really help them until we got into that position. Yeah. The relationships, we do the same thing.
Are you talking about me?
No.
No, I'm kidding.
We can go down that road, but we don't have enough time. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I saw it back on the market, so let's not talk about it.
Is
it back on the market?
Oh, I forgot to tell you. No.
Oh, okay. I thought it was. You put it on Facebook.
Give me a heart attack.
What are you talking about?
I saw it on Facebook this morning. I was like, oh,
this morning? That's an algorithm, Brooke. It's an algorithm.
No, I'm going to go find it now and show you. So then never mind.
Are you talking about a Facebook ad?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not taking that down until it closes.
Yeah, no, smart.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah.
But that's cool you saw it again.
Yeah.
That house has had so many
But
views.
I instantly was like, oh, man.
No, we're almost done.
My first impression
we're almost done
on
with
social
that
media
thing.
was that. So.
Well, you told me to list it on Facebook like that.
Glad you guys care. I'm glad you guys were concerned. Do. I know. Yeah, that's good.
Anyways, I think that's probably pretty good.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that, remember, don't settle when you search.
Just be yourself.
Work on yourself.
You gotta work hard. You gotta
just remember, you are the problem.
Yeah.
So maybe not be yourself.
Well, no, try to be the best version of yourself you can every day.
Put your best foot forward.
When you go, you don't have to wear a suit and tie. Just be yourself. And just because you can go to any appointment, you could wear a suit and tie, and they're gonna see you a type of way. Or you could go like we're dressed today and just sweatpants and whatever else. But
These
if you show up
Lululemons,
confidence,
these are nice.
We're not gonna. So compatibility is what I was gonna say about that. Search, and then to find out who you're compatible with, what kind of clientele do you want to attract? What kind of partner do you want to attract? Like, go back to writing it down. And, if I'm wanting to attract a luxury, what was the word? The word I was going to say was
like
it wasn't
luxury
a good
real
word.
estate.
Well, not just luxury real estate, or like a. I mean, I don't know good words that like pretentious, like a bougie is a good word. If I wanted to sell houses to that type of person, I will never attract them to do business with me dressed like this. There's just no way.
That's not true.
I do think that is true. You're going to attract. You cannot attract every type of person. Like,
right.
You like some people, when they will look at how you're dressed, and people dress in suit and tie and real nice, and they will attract a certain person. And they will also.
I'm going for the Mark Zuckerberg. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah,
I don't know. With the sweatpants and his multi-million-dollar house.
You can sell yourself in anything that you wear, and you can get clients. Right? Yeah. I believe that you can do anything you want based on your own personality and how you present yourself, and if you have tattoos showing and things like that. But I promise you, if you have tattoos, if you have sleeves on your arms, you can get business, but you will lose business.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
There's
yes.
nothing you can do about it.
Okay, I get your point.
And you have to accept that fact. Right?
Yeah.
Well, but if I'm meeting with an old lady, like I got one that's coming up, I'm gonna wear my collared shirt with my sleeves down.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yes.
I don't,
Did
just
you
so I
know?
know, because I know
Yes.
that older people don't always. Now it's getting more acceptable,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not about to lose a $600,000 listing because
No.
I have
You
a
want to show
tattoo.
because you want to show your tattoo
Because
and your individualism. You know,
Right.
like
That's
you gotta
when I
know.
don't wear my backwards
once
hat.
I
Yeah.
once I get them signed up, yeah, I'm gonna show my tattoos off.
Yeah.
you know,
Right. You might-
just because I
yeah.
don't like to wear long sleeves, but
Yeah.
But you got to know what what and who you're wanting to attract, and you got to present yourself that way. And for me, I want to attract people that are good with individualism, that are good with people being themselves, that are real
or
and
want
honest,
different.
and want different, and don't want somebody to put a front on like I have all this money in the world. Let me present myself as this super wealthy individual.
Like I don't
Yeah.
want to represent those. Well, and I will, but I also mentally can handle it because I've coached myself to do this. But like those clients who are like, well, you better get me what I want because of this, or that's your job. You know, it's like I do not appreciate that behavior because
No, I
that's
won't
not,
work
that's
with
not
those
how
people.
it works.
Yeah.
And,
And I
and
don't
I'll
need-
bulldog them, but I'm gonna tell you if they don't take it, it's not because I didn't bulldog them enough. It's because they didn't appreciate the approach.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
and also, and you didn't want to. You weren't in a position where you were desperate, to where you had to have a client that disrespected you. You know, and felt a certain way about you. You know, because some people will want their agent to be weaker minded, to do everything that they say,
Right.
and they're attracted to that, right?
Yeah.
And you as the if you're that agent, you may not even recognize that that's what they're doing. You know,
Yeah.
they don't want to go get the strong, successful agent because then they're not in control like they want to be. That so you just. We lose deals all the time and we never know why, which is why we always say keep your pipeline full. Go meet a ton of people.
Regardless
That's
of
your
who-
job. Stay in front of people.
Just stay in front of people. You're not going to win everyone and attract everyone.
Yeah.
You're going to attract and be compatible with the people that you're compatible with. And so if there's a certain person you want to be compatible with, go write it down, figure it out, think through it, and make sure you're presenting yourself in a way that will be attractive to that type of person.
Yeah.
And you're still will win them, and you'll still lose them.
And you can win people that are different, or that aren't that don't fit that mold of what they're attracted to. You can, but generally speaking, you're going to attract the people that you attract based on how you present yourself.
I was just thinking you were just going to be like talking about like just extremely bougie people, and you have to be extremely bougie to win those people.
No. Yeah.
That's where I thought you were going. I was like, time out. There's bougie people out there that have lots of money that wear sweatpants every day too.
Oh, for sure.
So-
But I mean, the type of person that is that
Yes.
presents themselves as wealthy, and they're attracted to somebody who also presents themselves
That's
that
bougie.
way.
Yes.
You know, so
Yes.
But like I always say, if you're an introvert, go find the other introverts, right?
Let me know how that conversation goes. No, I'm just kidding.
No, for real though. I mean,
I think we're all introverted and all extroverted. It's just kind of like what degree.
Yes.
And for,
balance.
yeah, and for me, it's like what season of life am I in, or like what am I dealing with emotionally? And if I'm being more emotional or
Yes.
in my feels, I'm definitely introverting.
Casey
And
has
then-
feels.
But if I'm like enjoying life and like sales are going good and everyone's thriving and the weather's good,
And it's like,
I'm down to
woo!
go. Yeah, I'm down
Let's
to
do
hang out.
everything.
So,
That's why there's more home sales in June.
but that's just proof like you can sell houses if you're introverted too.
Oh yeah, no, you just got to find your people. Anyone can be successful in real estate. Just got to find your people.
we didn't get to touch on deal breakers and things, but I guess we kind of did a little bit, did we? Not really.
Should we do would you rather deal breaker?
Yeah, we could do
That
that.
would
Do you
kinda
got
cover
one?
it.
Yeah,
And-
let's
no,
end it.
let's think of
end it.
one real
Think of a
quick.
Would you rather deal breaker? Okay, so
Oh, well-
what are some deal breakers? Smell is one,
Yeah.
right? Or
Halitosis,
what?
bad
What?
breath.
Oh, bad breath. Is that?
Oh,
what
I
is
thought
that
it-
I'm pretty
called?
sure it's called halitosis.
I thought you were going to talk about someone's toes. So
Yeah, halitosis. How's toeses?
So
Hal?
so really
Okay, so
really
would you
sti-
rather have your partner be super, super stinky and smelly?
no.
Or, well, let's try to think of one that's worse than that.
oh man.
Or would you rather
Should we
be not, or your partner have zero attraction to your partner physically?
Those are two terrible ones.
That's the point of the game.
No, I'm out. I don't want either one.
So you're telling me though, this person that you're not physically attracted to at all smells amazing.
Well,
Okay, deal. I'm in that one.
You're just not. Well, they don't stink to you.
Yeah. So you
They
look.
don't have to
So
smell
you.
amazing,
So you're with.
but they don't stink. They
Well,
don't. They don't like. You don't be around them. You're like, oh my gosh.
Well,
But-
let's be extreme. Like,
Okay,
like
they smell
the
amazing.
partner is,
Attractions.
but the partner is smoking hot.
But they stink.
Or
yes, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Or they
Smells
smell
amazing.
amazing. Their pheromones are getting you, but you have zero physical attraction to them.
everything. It's everything in a partner you don't want physically.
Yes, yeah, but everything.
I don't
but-
like this game.
But they have everything else that you do want.
Okay, I'm gonna probably go with. This is not a tip. I don't think I could. I'm gonna go with smells bad but is smoking hot.
That's a male response
because
that's what I would
because
probably
girls,
go for,
I
too.
feel like not a lot of people are gonna agree, but I feel like girls can get away with some stuff if they're hot.
No, they for sure can. And
Right, so they can-
I would go
so
for
not
that
true.
too. I would go for that too.
Until
I
I,
think-
smell
You don't
it.
think that's true?
Until I smell it, then I might change
we
my
are.
mind.
This is like two men against a lesbian
know,
right
but-
now.
but-
so
but-
So it's the same thing.
But you don't think like girls that are like a dime, you don't think they can get away with more sometimes?
no, I'm more picky.
Okay, maybe not with you.
Okay, well, you
I'm
enjoy your
saying in
busted partner.
society In general, we're talking in general.
Yeah, no, like in the like.
Yeah, and that's okay. That's life's
Yes.
hierarchy.
Pretty privileged. Yeah, because I mean, a physical attraction is like that's the first thing you see when somebody is their physical features, and
But then you start talking to them, and you're like, ugh.
yeah, but maybe you can pick up on it. But we're talking in general in society, like. If you are a pretty person, I think you tend to get away with more.
You do.
things.
Oh,
It's
okay,
it's
that-
natural
yes.
and it's scientific.
I was thinking, like-
That's a scientific
Yes,
fact.
it is.
People men who are handsome and tall
Tall, yeah.
get promoted way quicker. That's why a lot of the CEOs of a lot of companies are handsome and tall.
How do you think I got to where I am? I'm tall.
Exactly.
Maybe not have the handsome one, but I got the tall
Oh, you're
one
handsome
figured out.
enough.
No, I do think that you do have an advantage
And when you're
because you
pick-
are tall.
100%. I know
really,
I do.
yeah, no,
It's a
100.
privilege.
Yes.
And when you're picking a partner,
always feel that way.
That's why attraction's important because you're picking the person that you are going to put the next generation of people on the earth. And scientifically, you want that person to be attractive.
Yes, and you will settle for things
Health-wise.
that you will settle on things that you wanted, but they don't have because of their attraction.
Yeah.
For sure. And I think that the opposite for women would be men with money. If they're wealthy, they
Ours is a lot simpler, yeah.
They will settle for things that a man
Yes.
doesn't have if they have wealth.
Because they want to be provided
Again,
for.
Not every woman and
Maybe
not
I
every
did
man.
life so wrong. I'm just kidding.
No, you just know.
I could be sitting on a beach right now,
Yeah,
Sure
you
you
know
could be.
what? Yeah, you messed
getting
up.
taken care of. No, I would not be able to do that.
No, yeah, that'd be hard, right? I mean,
It'd be awkward.
because you would be with
Extremely
you'd be
unhappy.
You'd be fake your whole life. You'd be somebody that you're not. You'd be trying to be somebody that you're not just for
Yes.
money. Oh, we got a single person in the house.
Lauren
Oh, Lauren
Downs.
likes rich men.
She needs.
She does, and
she needs someone to swipe right.
and
She's
yeah.
like, I want to go lay on the beach.
And then-
How old are you? Can we say it? She's 25.
She's on Insta.
attractive.
She's physically attractive and she smells good.
She's got.
She
both.
can go blonde or brunette,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's
and
a plus.
She's wholesome.
She can be anything you want her to be.
She's ready, guys. She's ready.
Put a link to her socials in the description below.
Yeah.
Her social. Oh,
Yeah.
Her social
Go stalk
accounts.
a little bit, and if you're interested, you can reach out to anyone.
go
on
ahead
the
and hit the
panel.
bell.
Actually,
Yeah,
comment
yeah.
below.
If you're
Yeah.
not
Follow
subscribed,
us.
if you're not subscribed and following, we will
Otherwise,
not consider you as an option.
Yeah,
Lauren,
no,
put,
yeah, she'll
put
be like,
my
"No, I'm not
information
doing
in, and I'll interview them for you.
Okay, so you're going
'Cause I know all the
I
questions
think
to ask.
the better person to have interview them would be me, not these
Why?
guys. I mean,
No, 'cause I
y'all
know-
just listen to the
I think all
conversation.
three.
I know what that guy's after, and I know what Lauren wants. So I'm a good mediator.
I would agree. I think any one of us could be a good interview for Lauren.
I don't know. I'm pretty tough.
Well, let's just get that
I know,
guy.
so I said any
Let's
three
get
of us
that
I
guy
think
in on the
would be good.
podcast then.
Okay,
So what do you want with my friend Lauren
I think-
Downs?
Yeah.
How much money do you make?
What's your history?
What's your
and
drive?
background?
How much
How
money
many
do you make?
girlfriends have you had?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any kids already? Get out.
So Brooke never answered the question. I'm assuming you would rather someone smell amazing and not have any physical attraction, correct?
No, I just don't choose
Answer
to
the damn question.
participate in
Brooke
this one.
always does this.
You can't.
It's theoretical. It's
Because
theoretical.
I understand, but either one
We're
of those,
running-
I'm just
Can
instantly
you guys
like,
roast Brooke in the comments?
We're running out of
Every-
time.
Do it.
Most of the would you rather, she's like, I don't want to play. I can't pick one. That's the point of the game. It's not real. You're just picking one.
I know, and I can't pick one because they're both disgusting.
Too bad.
I mean, they're
Man.
not disgusting. It's a little harsh, but
It's pretty
I'm
bad.
out.
I mean, they
smell.
both suck.
Well, smells to me is like a big thing.
I know. That's why I figured you would choose.
Okay, then
someone
you
who
just
smells
chose.
good.
Okay,
No.
sorry.
No, because if
You
they
gotta-
have everything else that I hate, I'll
you
just
gotta-
be annoyed, and
you
I'll
gotta
just be
busted
like,
looking
Everything else
partner.
that you love except for physical attraction. They still have.
"Oh, I
everything
thought
else
you
as a
guys said
person.
something else, though."
No, either they smell good and have all the things you're looking for, but you are not physically attracted to them, or you're physically attracted to them. Everything about them is you're physically. That's it. But they don't smell good. They don't have these other qualities that you would want.
Oh,
in
then
a
I'm going
person.
with a smell good
That's
person.
what I figured. That's what I figured.
Lame.
Why?
Well,
I don't think.
sorry
it's lame.
about you
I
and your
think it makes
busted
sense.
partner.
Thank you.
Sorry about you.
Huh?
I said sorry about you and your busted looking partner.
Well, good thing I got a hot wife, and she smells good. So, and she has all the qualities I look
It
for.
was theoretical,
There
guys.
you go.
It
She's
was
such a lucky
hypothetical.
woman.
Theoretical.
I love
Is that
you,
even
babe.
the right word?
Hypothetical. You see
Theoretical,
what these men
hypothetical?
try to make
Are
me
they the same
do?
thing?
No.
Theoretical, hypothetical. What is theoretical? What's the difference
Theor-
between
well-
theoretical and hypothetical?
Well,
Thanks for listening to the Open Books podcast.
Everyone's
Close it out,
already
Casey.
tuned
why
off.
don't you
at this
guys
point.
let us know
Comment
what the
below
difference
in the
is?
comments. What's the difference? And if you do comment that, we will know you're a true
Absolutely,
fan
because you
of
listen
this,
to
and
the.
you
Or
listen,
you're
you
a
listen to the
true-
end.
We need to start stopping
Man.
this podcast in the middle and asking for subscribers
gonna
in
be a
because
true
that's
man
what
if
all
they
the
answer that
YouTubers
question.
do.
Do what?
All the YouTubers, they stop like in the middle or anytime they say something important, they stop and say, hey, don't forget, if you're enjoying the content, like and subscribe, and then they carry on.
I know.
But we wait till the end. Well, all I'm saying is we should start doing it in the middle too.
Well, as we come to an end,
Okay, go ahead. Let's end it up.
As we come to an end, please don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell for future notifications for upcoming topics. If you want us to talk about anything related to real estate or really anything else related to real estate or unrelated,
or if you want more dating advice,
we can coach you on that too.
Big time.
So because we're all pros, so put your comments in the comments
And
section.
if we offended you at all today, it was not our intention. Just don't be offended.
Well,
You can
be less
unsubscribe.
sensitive, and
No,
maybe that'll help.
Stay subscribed.
Yeah, stay subscribed and just become less sensitive. Dave, your peers will thank you and they'll like you more.
Yeah.
And then also don't forget about Lauren Downs. She's available, and we will interview you first.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I'm telling you,
watch her be
you
like
guys out there,
engaged
like,
by the time this gets released.
it can't just be anyone.
She's going
you
to
know?
Vegas this weekend,
Yeah.
guys.
Last time she went to
Yeah,
Vegas,
yeah,
though,
she's
she
not gonna
came
find a
home
guy in
empty-handed.
Vegas.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe you might find a rich man in Vegas.
She
Just
came home empty
saying.
last time.
But I
You
know,
go hang
I know,
out at the
I know
craps table.
Lauren, and Lauren's looking for more than just riches financially.
Well, he
So.
could smell good and have a personality. That too,
She said that he needs to love Jesus. That's an important one.
100%.
That's a
You
that's
gotta
a,
make sure
that's a deal breaker if you
It
don't.
is. You got to find the right person financially. Wait, what did I just
the
say?
four legs.
Financially,
Spiritually,
Four legs to the
emotionally,
table.
emotionally,
Physically.
and physically. Well, now
No,
you're
no.
just
So
making
the
it.
the
You guys just ruined the whole thing that I
foundation
had
to
to
a
say.
table, the foundation
thought
to
this
a
was
table.
over.
No, the foundation to a table is 4 legs.
I have 5 legs on my table. That thing is extra sturdy.
Okay, there's 4
I'm
legs,
kidding.
4 main legs. Okay, you got
just got
financial, spiritual, intellectual, and
Yes.
physical.
Thank
Okay?
you. That's what I was trying to say.
Those are the 4 legs. If you are lacking
Thank you,
one,
Lauren.
your,
This is why I'm a better
your
interviewer.
foundation
Your
is-
table's
is,
wobbly.
is a little less, right? If you have 2 that are missing, you better hope it's the 2 on the corner. Your foundation just fell. Your whole table just fell down, right? So like financially, it doesn't mean that you earn the same income. It means that you have the same drive when it comes to financial goals, and you have the same spending habits.
Oh my God.
Because if you guys have different spending habits, then that's just tension and arguments waiting to happen.
Yes, it is.
Yep. Yeah. But if your spouse makes money and they
That's why you need a
are
rich
okay
man.
with you spending, then that's the same financial goals, and you guys match. So
Yeah.
those are the 4 legs. yeah, we'll more dating advice.
Yeah. Make sure the legs of your tables are screwed in tightly. Yeah. And every once in a while, you might have to grab that Allen wrench and tighten that thing up. You know?
Might have to. You might have to.
Oh, man.
We're going to wrap this thing up.
Bell.
We appreciate you guys.
Don't forget
Keep
to comment.
listening.
I really want to know the difference between theoretical and hypothetical.
Yeah, I wonder how many comments we'll get.
0
Hey, optimism.
times a million.
That's 0.
I know. I was just seeing if it cut you guys.
Theo would have cut that one. All right, thanks for listening. Signing off.
Peace out.